Shalom Israel, Sister Kana, and just want to say shalom. Also, this is going to be my introduction to video, and for my music page, I wanted to kind of go more in depth with my testimony, and how the Most High woke me up. The introduction one, I kind of went into it, and I was, I gave a synopsis of it. But I wanted to kind of get more in detail, mainly because of the holy days. And I just wanted people to kind of understand why I am, the way I am about the holy days, and how the Most High dealt with me, with the holy days, so that you can understand me a little more, how important it is. So I want to say first that on my music page, I also uploaded other videos, videos that I came across while waking up to the truth, like one with the gathering of Christ, come out of her, my people video was like the first video I saw of them when I was in Israel. So I uploaded that one, and just a lot of things about the music industry, and maybe Forerunner, because these are some of the videos that helped me understand why the Most High was kind of dealing with me, and I was in the Bible and stuff like that. So I upload those things, those videos as well, along with my music, that I write and stuff along the way. But I really want to use this page to document my experience, my testimony, and music, uplifting and glorifying, Ahaya. And just give, hopefully, some inspiration to anyone who's waking up to the truth, and who's understanding that they have to leave Babylon, but maybe not really understanding and being sure what's happening to them. Because I know it was confusing to me, but because I didn't have anybody or any proof that I needed to leave. So if this can be some proof to somebody's spirit, to understanding that the Most High is waking us up, and that don't be afraid to walk out on faith and leave Babylon, because the Most High, this thing is real, the Most High is true, and the spirit of the Ahaya is waking up his people and commanding us to come out of America. So I just wanted to give that information to anyone who just may happen to run across this video, that don't be afraid to trust the Most High. Faith is what's going to carry you, and that's what he's looking for in each and every one of us, the obedience and the faith to love him and trust him enough that he said he'll take care of us. Okay, so let me get into the story. Okay, so basically, I just wanted to do these testimonies basically because I have been through a lot of things. I have a lot of information. The Most High dealt with me, in such a way that I feel like I need to first document it and express it, and so that something that I won't forget, because it's been an amazing story for me. And one of the things that happened was the test. I went through a major test right before he woke me up, and I don't know, maybe other people have going through this or have gone through this, but I wanted to just say that he tested me. The first thing was that because I'm a musician, I'm a singer, I was in a situation where this woman was offering me a distribution deal. She was offering $1 million, and she was going to distribute my CD for me, my God's Promise CD. So I was like, wow, I was really excited about it, and I started praying about it, asking the Most High, because it was something that I really wanted. And the music industry could be real fickle sometimes, so the deal could have just flopped, So I prayed about it, and I started asking the Most High, and he just woke me up to the truth. And, it was like I had to make a choice. And I just thank the Most High that I chose him. I wasn't really taken by the money offer, and I just thank the Most High. But, now looking back, I understand it was like I was in a transition, like I could have gone either way. And praise and glory to Ahaya, that I thank the Most High, and that he started to reveal the truth to me. So, but I'm gonna go into that at another time. But I just wanted to say that for people who may be going through that thing, that Satan may be trying to get a hold of you, and you have to make a choice, and you have to trust the Most High. And you know, we are not of this world, and you have to understand that Satan may try to dangle a carrot in your face or something, but you still just, you're chosen of the Most High, and so you have to go with the Most High. So anyway, so I just wanted to say that. But okay, so the Most High has showed me a lot of different things, and He showed me the Sabbath. He showed me America was Babylon. He showed me just how the synagogue of Satan in Revelation 2 and 9 and 3 and 1. He showed me all that. And when I say that He showed me it, I don't mean like I just found it in the scripture. I mean, He took me through a crash course. Like when He woke me up to the Sabbath, I had to go into the history of how the Sabbath was changed to Sunday, and how Constantine and who changed it, and how it was changed and all that. So it wasn't just like me just getting the information and that was it. He took me through different courses. When about Babylon was America, he showed me in the Bible that Babylon was America, but I had to go into the understanding of the beast, who the beast was, and the little horn that came out of the beast. And I went into the monetary system of America and the different presidents, who was president at which time, and when the monetary system was changed, when the Federal Reserve was created. I mean, He took me through all these steps before, so that I would understand and not just know that America was Babylon, but how this process came about. And that's why it took me some months. It took me like 5 months, 6 months of me just studying and getting all this information at one time. So I just wanted to, say that, so when you hear me say, he showed me, or He took me through a crash course, that you understand what the course was. Like I had to really get a lot of information. Okay, so now He woke me up to the Sabbath, and immediately I started looking for a Saturday church. Because mind you, I was in a Sunday church for years. I was going. And I had moved from New York to California. So I was in California, and I was going to church, but I wasn't going that often. And let me explain, because I had gotten into a car accident. So my car was like totaled. So I wasn't really going to the church like I wanted to. I had a friend who would come and pick me up, every once in a while. She would take me to her church, and then, I would enjoy it, because, in California, you really got to have a car. So once I had an accident, I wasn't really like going to church like I wanted to. So when I found out that the Saturday was the Sabbath, I was blown away by that, and then I started looking for a Sabbath church. So my first church I went to was a Seventh-day Adventist church, and I went for maybe like 5 or 6 weeks, and I was going to the church and going every Sabbath, and then I started to notice, because mind you, while I'm going to church and stuff, I'm still studying. The Most High is still showing me different things. So I noticed that they didn't complete the Lord's Prayer. So then I started, after the first Sabbath, I was like, okay, second Sabbath, then I started to notice. So I started researching it, like where did the Seventh-day Adventists, when was it formed, how they started, where, originated from. So I noticed that they had maybe branched off from the Catholic Church. And because I had did all that whole study about Constantine and how the pagan church had set up, had taken over the Church of the Most High, I understood the origin of the Seventh-day Adventist Church once I felt that it was connected with the Catholic Church. And the reason why that they didn't complete the Lord's Prayer was it was satanic undertones. So as I started to go into it, I understood that. So then I didn't go to that church anymore. Once I understood that it was satanic and why they didn't complete Thy kingdom come, Thy will be done on earth, because they wasn't trying to bring the Most High's kingdom. So basically. Okay, so then I started looking for another church, and now I didn't know where else to go, because I didn't really find any other Saturday Sabbath besides the Jewish church. And I kind of already knew about the Jewish church because I used to read Revelations a lot. So I knew about there was a synagogue of Satan, who called themselves Jews and they were not. So I didn't really want to go to a Jewish church because I already kind of knew, but I didn't know any other church, and I didn't know the truth yet. I didn't know about the Israelites or anything. It never came to my mind. So I went to the Jewish church, and after one visit, I didn't go back. I was like, it just didn't hit my spirit right, and so I didn't want to go back. So after that visit, I started to go online and I started to look for another church, and so that was like Saturday, and when I came home after the Jewish church, and I started for maybe like 3 or 4 days, I started looking online, and I ran into a forum. I was going to different forums, but there was this forum, and a guy was speaking about his church. I mean, he was raving about his church. So I was like, wow, let me check it out. So I sent him an email, and I was like, hey, I read your email about your church, and it sounds like a wonderful church, and I just woke up to the Sabbath. Can you tell me where your church is? So he replied back, it was like in Ohio, Illinois. And I was like, oh, wow. So I asked them, do they have an affiliate? And lo and behold, they had one affiliate, and it was in California where I was. And I was like, wow, that's amazing. So he told me, he gave me all the information, and they were called the Israel House of God Church. Now, after reflecting, because this was a while ago, but after reflecting, I even realized that me being in California, I felt that Most High had a hand in that, or how I even ended up in California. Because naturally, I just thought it was due to music and maybe some acting is what in my mind why I was there. But I just thought it was amazing that I ended up in California and this church was in California, and I'll explain why. So I go to the church, and now mind you, the Most High is still showing me stuff in the Bible and this and that. So maybe like that week, maybe a couple of days before, I had just read in the Bible where the Most High tells us that we should have the 10 Commandments up in our doorpost in our homes. So I was like, wow, amazed about that, because that was something I never, knew about, that we should keep the 10 Commandments up in our doorpost, and for people to see and to teach it to our children, and so that we can keep it in our hearts and we would remember them. And so when I read that, I immediately wrote out the 10 Commandments, and I started to put it up in my doorpost. And you'd be surprised that everybody comes in, they read the 10 Commandments. It is a good thing to do, just because people do read when they come in and go out of your house. And so they always ask about it, they always stop and read it, and they know that you are a child of the Most High. And then they'll maybe question you can get into conversations about it. So I thought it is a great thing. But anyway, so I walk into the church. I found it. He gave me all the information. I walked to the church, and they had 2 big, huge slab of the 10 Commandments on, up in their church. I was like, wow. So I knew I was in the right place when I saw that, because I never walked in anywhere and saw the 10 Commandments anywhere, in a church, a bank, or nothing. So when I saw that, and after me getting that information a couple of days ago, I knew that I was in the right place. So I came in, I sat in the back of the room. Now, it's a small storefront church. It's only about maybe 10 people in the whole church. It was like empty. So I sat through the church. They did the Bible study, and then they did the sermon. The pastor spoke. And then afterward, one of the women came up to me, and she was like an older woman. She was like in her 70s, and she was like, oh, it's so nice, welcome, welcome. She said, she called herself the mother of the church. And she said, I've been fasting for 7 days, and this was my last day of fasting, and I was fasting that new people would come into the church. She said, so welcome, and she was so happy and so nice, and they treated me so nice and loving, from that point on, So it felt like a family, to me. So I ended up staying there. I think I got there about the end of August. end of August. So they were about to go into the feast, the holy feast. Now, mind you, I'm coming from a Christian church. I didn't even know the Most High had holy days. I didn't. And so they kept the laws by the book in this church. They did all the laws. They kept, all the ceremonies. They tried to do everything according to the Bible. So I was happy because I had no idea, coming out of Sunday church, none of these things we did. So, so we were starting to go into the feast. So, and I was coming every Sabbath, and I would even come on Wednesdays, a Bible study, and, I ended up, putting a choir together and started working on the choir. It was just, I just loved it. So, after a month or 2 months in there, I started, like, when I would go home, I would be praying to the Most High and asking Him to show me, because I didn't know why He sent me there. I knew He sent me there, but I didn't know why. And so at that point, I had knew that America was Babylon, and I knew that I was leaving. I already knew at that point that I was going to Israel. So they were already trying to indoctrinate me, into the church and, being a new member and stuff like that. And I was like trying to tell them that I'm leaving. I'm not going to be here that long. I was planning to leave. And initially I was going to leave in October, right? That was, what my plan was. So I started, feeling like I needed to tell them, because I knew in the scriptures in Revelation it talks about a remnant of the church that will be saved through the tribulation. Now this I understood even before I woke up to the truth, because I used to read Revelations a lot and try to get understanding. Once 9/11 happened, I think I spoke about this before. When 9/11 happened, that kind of woke me up. So I started to study and try to understand the Bible, which I couldn't get any understanding. But I knew about the church, that there will be an hour and this remnant will be saved. So, I used to always pray to the Most High and ask to be one of this remnant. I used to always pray that prayer because, I believed that there would be a remnant. So now we're at this point, and now I know America is Babylon. He done show me this thing. I thought the church that I was at was the church, because they kept the laws, and I thought that's why the Most High sent me there, to warn them, to help them and tell them that they were the church. So, after maybe a month or two, now I'm talking to the pastor, maybe it's about the end of September, going into September. The economy had crashed. There was a major economy crash in 2008. And, so now I'm trying to, I had the ear of the pastor, his wife, and the elder, and his wife, and, some of the other deacons and, people. So they allowed me to speak. So I was telling them that I believe that they were the church that was spoken of in Revelation that would be saved, and that they needed to come out of America, that America was Babylon. And I started, really trying to explain, to them. And, so, and I thought that that's why the Most High had sent me to this church. So I was like, okay. So he, I had to pay the pastor, so he was like, okay. So he set up a meeting, and that he let me have the floor, and we kind of had a meeting, in one of the rooms. And I had a friend who worked at Kinko's. So I literally went through all the web pages. I went through the Bible scriptures that the Most High showed me, and I printed out a stack. Let me see if you can see my hands, like this big, full of papers for 10 people, to show them every step that the Most High has showed me, and so I can show them. So I, went through this big presentation, and they, I just knew that the Most High, that they would receive it like how I received it. Because I was like, wow, when I got the information. So they didn't receive it, and they did not receive it at all. And I was like, I would go home and I would be praying like, Most High, what's going on? Why they can't see it? And I would, every time I would go to church, I would try to talk to them. Now they started trying to convince me to stay. Now you got to imagine that, first of all, I had no confirmation that what I was feeling was right. Nobody. I was talking to all my friends. I was calling my mom and calling people, and people was trying to convince me to stay and show me in the Bible. I had one friend that was a pastor, and we would go into the scriptures, and nobody could show me where I was wrong. And I was showing them stuff, and they couldn't prove me wrong. And I was showing them that where America was Babylon, all these things. Up until the day that I left. Matter of fact, the night before I left, my plane was set in the morning. I had a meeting with this pastor friend, and he wanted to show me in the scriptures, and so that I wouldn't leave. And, you know, a part of me, I didn't want to go. I was afraid to go. You know, I'd never been overseas, and I never really traveled alone to a foreign country by myself. And so I didn't really want to go, you know, but I knew I had to go. And I don't know if anyone had that feeling of, you got to do it. And, you know, I literally felt like the Most High would take my life. And I knew that I understood it. So nobody could really tell me not to go. And they were trying to convince me, the church, you know, that, you know, and I didn't really want to go, because I was like, wow, I finally found a church that I really liked. The people were nice. It was a small church. It felt like family. And I was away from home. So I was struggling with that, but I just knew I had to go. So I just couldn't believe that they didn't get it, you know, about Babylon, and that we needed to leave. And then the economy had kind of crashed right around that time. So, you know, it was just so clear to me. So I left, and I'm so glad I did. I'm so thankful. But I was so unsure. I'd never been, you know, like that was such a crazy situation for me, you know, because it's like I knew I had to go. There was no question. But I didn't really want to go. And then I had all this stuff going on, you know, and then with the music situation as well. So anyway, so then I leave, I go to Israel, and, you know, and I'm basically in Israel and didn't know why. I was really there. I just knew I needed to be there. So I met this woman, like I said, and, she helped me a lot of this. And now she was, because of visa situation in Israel, she was like, well, you need to convert to Judaism. She was trying to tell me to convert, because she grew up in Dimona. She was into Judaism, so she knew that was the easiest way. But I knew not to do that, and I was like, no, she presented the information to me, and I was, but I already knew that wasn't even an option for me. I knew that they were the synagogue of Satan, so I wasn't even going in that direction. But so I still had to worry about the whole visa thing. So I was there about 2 months, and that's when I ran across the Gathering of Christ, and I saw the Come Out of Her My People video, and I was just like, so now you can imagine how I felt, because they confirmed everything the Most High had shown me, everything and more. I learned so much more, but it was just the initial thing about Babylon, the Sabbath, the music industry, and the synagogue of Satan, and all the things that the Most High had shown me. They were on there preaching, come out of her, my people. I was floored. I couldn't believe it. And so I immediately, called them up, and, I was just so thankful. The Most High just was, I couldn't believe it, because I had no confirmation, and all these months had passed and nothing. And then it amazed me that how could I have not ran across them in America? Because you got to understand, like, I was online all day, like in the Bible, going back and forth, email. I was on all different kind of sites looking for confirmation, and I did not find nothing. And even to the point where I had ran across that those Israelite guys, the GMS. Now I did run across them, but when I tried to listen to it, I got such a headache. I had to turn it off. Like my head started, I got this migraine headache, and it happened like 2 or 3 times. Like I would see their video, and I try to listen, and because I knew of them because I was from New York, so I had heard about those guys from Harlem that used to preach on the streets, and I would pass them sometimes and would listen, and I knew in my spirit that they spoke some truth especially about the black man being, kings and stuff like that. I always knew that from a kid. So when I tried to listen to them though, I would get the migraine headache. I couldn't listen to them. So it amazed me that how I never ran across the Gathering of Christ while I was in America. And then once I found out about them and I was in Israel, I had found out that they had recently came from California. Like I had just left. I had been out 2 months and I had heard that they had went to California. I was like, wow. It just blew me away that I never ran across them in America. And it made me understand that the Most High had dealt with me in such a way that he didn't want me to see them. Because had I saw them in America, I would have definitely stayed. I would have definitely waited and, just went along with the process. But it's like I didn't find anything on the internet about them until I was sitting in Israel. I just was amazed by that. That alone just like, I couldn't believe it. So then, the process went on, and then I finally got to meet Elder Zah and Brother Amawala. And I just told you her thing. So we went to Egypt, and we studied and looking for different locations or whatever. And then the Most High, again, I ended up going further into Egypt. I went to, Goshen. And I just was like, and there's so much stuff that's happened. But this is just a small glimpse of it, so I just wanted to share that. But when I saw them on the internet, on YouTube, I was like, wow, that's the church. This is the church. I knew that this was the church. And so, I was just blown away by the whole experience, and I was so happy to meet them and talk with them and be in agreement with somebody about the truth and about what was going on. And so that's why, I even though, like, I know that they probably don't understand me, and, because I don't really, understand a lot of things that, they do either, but I just want them to know that I'm not against them in no way. I'm in total agreement. But there's certain things that the Most High showed me when it comes to His holy days. There's no middle ground for me. I have to do what the Most High showed me, and I know He showed me for a reason. I didn't go through that process for nothing. So that's why when I met Elder Zah and I realized that they didn't know about the holy days. Now that blew me away, because they Israelites, they've been in it for a long time, but I didn't understand how they didn't keep the holy days. And then that was an issue for me, because I had known what the Most High showed me. I know what He showed me, and I know I went through that for a reason. So that's how this whole thing has come about. Is because at that point I was like, wait a minute, Most High. I started, when I was in Egypt, I started meeting brothers and sisters, and I just didn't get it. Like, I was like, Most High got jokes, And I just didn't understand it. So, and I didn't want to be going back and forth with people and fighting with people. So that's why I had to just leave and not be, impose certain things on people. I understand that people have to go through certain things, and it's a process, and people have to be purged, and Most High will bring them to this state. And I can't sit back and intervene in that process. That's what I realized, that I didn't want to intervene in the process that the Most High would have to take, certain individuals through. All I can do is, like I've been doing, like making certain videos and, trying to say certain things, and trying to do it in respect, of people, but still having to do it. I understand that now. Once I understood that people didn't really understand certain parts, and that maybe He showed me something that, He hadn't shown some other people. But I feel like, just like I'm willing to learn, and I'm getting a lot of information from, like the gathering and certain individuals. Other people have to accept and learn too, and be able to receive what the Most High wants to teach them or give them through someone else. But it's a process, and I understand that it's a purging process, and that we all have to go through these things. So in no way, am I trying to offend anyone or speak against people who, who taught me or anything. I'm not trying to do that, and that's why, I don't have to do that. The Most High, this is the Most High story, and He's doing things in the way He wants to do it. So all I can do is just try to be a vessel and let Him use me when He can, and try not to speak when it's not my turn. But when I have to speak, know that I have to speak, and I have to accept that responsibility as well. I can't sit back and hide in the corner, and even though it may not seem like work to some people, this is my work. This is the task that the Most High has put before me, the holy days. And so, and I'm just trying to be diligent, So I just needed to express that, and there's a lot of information that I have, but I think there's a time for everything, that when I'm supposed to speak and when not to speak. So I try to stay in order and in line with the Most High. I'm not trying to speak out of turn, but I also, when it's time for me to speak, I have to speak, regardless of, people may not, understand, or they don't understand what the Most High is doing. A lot of times neither do I. But it's this process that we all have to go through, and we just praise Him, give Him all the glory, trust Him. He's a loving and awesome God. And I just want to say, like, to any women, the females, don't be afraid to step out on faith. And a lot of sisters who have children, and you have to like face this thing alone. It was hard for me doing it by myself. And if you have a child, or a mate, a spouse, or a friend who's coming out too, that makes it all the better, because at least you can have somebody. But if you have to do it with just you and your children, trust the Most High, and try not to listen to these people on the internet talking about beware to the women and all that stuff, because the Most High, He said we are about to go to a time like no other time. So it's going to be like no other time. And so He said that there will be 7 women to 1 man. So we can't worry about those things, about men taking advantage. They're going to be held accountable to the Most High, and He's going to purge and deal with those people, in those particular situations. So your job is just to trust the Most High. Save your family. If you got, young men in the king that's going to be kings in this kingdom, you have daughters that are daughters of Zion, that, you cannot allow fear to keep, you from your blessing, from your Creator. Don't listen to these people who are trying to put fear in you to not trust the Most High, because that's all they're doing. And I just wanted to say that to sisters who may know that they have to leave, but they're hesitant or going through something. The Most High said this is going to be a time like never before. So, and there will be 7 women to 1 man. So you don't have to worry about that, as long as you do things righteously. Like, there's order and there's a way to do things. So, that unrighteous behavior is not, tolerable. And, women need to conduct themselves like true daughters of Zion. And, even women with husbands who have issues, like, a lot of people are still dealing with those Babylon spirits of, jealousy and insecurity, and anytime another woman comes around, see, the Most High, He's going to deal with all that, because you're going to have to deal with other women dealing with your man, because there's going to be 7 women to 1 man. That's what the Most High said. He said finding a righteous man is going to be like finding, gold. It's going to be very hard. So understand that, and we as a people just have to, rise to the occasion, and just bless the name of the Most High, Ahaya, for His word is true. And it's just an amazing process, an amazing time to be in, and I'm so happy and so thankful, And please, please watch your information that's coming out of the GOCC, especially the holy days. They are still incorrect. We cannot be worshiping Moloch and Baal. And I didn't really want to go into it on this channel with this information, but I want to say something about it because it's truth, what I spoke, and it's 100%. I'm glad to know the elder son is okay, but just pay attention. And I'm just looking forward. So I'll close it off, okay? And I'll just say thank you for watching. Have a blessed day or evening. And all glory and praise to Ahaya, Asha Ahaya Bahashmi Shaya. Blessings.